All right, Greg. Well, man, I'm pretty excited that we're getting a little bit more engagement on some of our videos, so we're starting to get some comments.
Good,
And
good.
there's been some pretty good comments. Now, I kind of hesitate to mention this because we like the comments.
Right.
But the one comparing you to me to Big Enos and you to Little Enos, that they might have been hitting a little bit close to home, reckon. That's like nearly meddling. But the ones where they go, David's not a car guy and I wish you'd shut up. Those are probably too accurate.
At least they're looking.
Yeah, they're looking.
At least they're watching the video.
We really appreciate the comments and we like the engagement. Yeah, and for just a little bit of background and history, I'm just a friend of Greg's. I am not a car guy. I'm just interested in helping Greg, get his message out, get these cars out there. We also get some comments how people feel like that some of our titles are clickbait, not clickbait. This is a museum. You can come in here, but it's also a Corvette sales floor. And one of the things we're talking about today is a 57 Fuelie. Now, not a car guy, but a 57 Fuelie, that's a pretty special car.
It's iconic. First year for the fuel injection, 57. Great colors. I mean, it's just the one to have.
Were there any other production cars with fuel injection, or was this a?
They did put the Fuelie motor in a passenger car.
In the same year?
In 57, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they did do that.
So Chevrolet was pretty advanced because nobody else was fuel injected. These were the first production cars?
As far as I know, Chevy was probably the first, other than some exotic, overseas
but
stuff.
production,
Yeah.
kind of American production, Plymouth, Ford, whatever it would have been in that period.
But this is the car that Zora got going, performance-wise, and roll-up windows, a different body from the 5345.
Right.
But mainly the fuel-injected engine, high horse, and
even
how
many horsepower?
283 horse.
Because if I was remembering at the end of the series of the first of the C1 car run, 3-speed was a real upgrade. Now this one's already up to a 4-speed, and this is how many horsepower was this motor?
Well, 283 horse, but now the 4-speed was only in maybe the last 700 of these cars.
Oh, really?
They just had come up with a 4-speed, and then of course 58. A lot of them were 4-speed, but 3-speed was the base transmission for all of them.
And just toward the end of the production run, they made a few with the 4-speeds.
They did. About 700, the last 700 cars
had the 4-speed.
Could have been the 4-speed.
Oh, you had the option, but not that many were made. And I was looking around this car, a ton of paperwork on this car.
Ton of paperwork. We didn't do this car. The guy that done the car noted every move he made, documented it on paper, everything he bought for it. We couldn't have beat this restoration.
Right. Really?
Our restoration, this guy's as good as anybody you'll see that done this car.
When I look under the hood, I notice that like all the chrome is polished, everything is clean. You make comments in some of these videos better than original. Or like if we looked at this example of this car in 1957, raised the hood in the Chevrolet dealership, this car would have definitely been the upfront showroom car.
Exactly.
We raised the hood. We would not have seen an engine bay that looks
probably
this clean.
wouldn't have looked this crisp.
Overdone.
A little bit overdone, yeah. Although the guy that done the car done it for NCRS judging. Guy buys this car, he can take it for judging. It should do well. It hadn't been for any judging.
Oh, this car's never been judged?
No judging. No.
Okay. But you're just telling me you know at a top flight, you know that it would do the performance.
It would do very well.
So this could be a Zora car.
A guy could buy it and take it through all the judging.
And get it done top.
If he wanted to. If he wanted to. Great car. I mean, it's good just like it is.
Right.
Guy don't want to do all that. He's got a car that would do it.
And you've had this car before?
I owned this car before. Really, really nice 57.
So how many 57s were there?
3,800 maybe.
Okay, so 3,800. You said 700 of them had the option to have the 4-speed, but they all didn't take it.
Right.
And so super rare that you've got 3,800 total production cars. How many had to be fuel injected? Not many.
Not many. I'd have to look in the book for that. But
if they were fuel injected though, would they have been a 4-speed? Would that have been an automatic?
No, they could have been a 270 horse or a single carburetor engine even. If they'd have ordered the 4-speed during that time period of the last 700 cars, they could have got it.
Yeah.
Now this car, David, has power top and power windows. Extremely rare. You have to unlatch the front and the rear and fold the rear upward, and it'll raise the lid and then lower the top into the well behind the seats and close the lid.
And close it back. Oh, wow.
Yeah. And got several little lockouts, like the trunk's up, the system won't work, or if the lid's not latched or whatever in the right position, then the soft top won't work.
And you've been through all that, and this car works.
It has, and it works amazingly. It works. Yeah, surprisingly, it works. The windows are just
electric windows.
Electric windows, with
just like what we'd be used to today.
Right.
So not only was this a performance car, it was a luxury car.
Right.
And then with that top, that really kind of set it apart. I've heard tell that the fuel injection on these can be finicky. So have you sorted all that out for this car as well?
Yeah, the guy that done this car, I don't know that he built the unit, but who built the unit done well. Right. Starts up just like a carburetor car, runs perfect, starts just like it should.
Yeah.
Perfect job.
And we all forget that now. We take it for granted with our new computerized electronic fuel injected cars. But these cars, used to have to be like, oh, what's the code to this car? You got to pat the gas 3 times and, spin around and click your heels and make it crank. When you purchase a car from you kind of have all that worked out for them.
We do, absolutely.
Yeah. And you could tell an unsophisticated purchaser that wanted to buy this car as an investment, how to store it and not hurt the fuel injection too, right?
Absolutely.
What kind of gas to use, all those kind of things.
And that's pretty important with not only the fuel car, the carburetor.
But any cars.
You got to store them properly, and winter times, put it upright, and a lot of stuff to do. Yeah. Where it'll go next time you want to go.
But I mean, isn't that kind of part of the service that you offer too when you buy a car from you? You just have that wealth of knowledge, and I could come to you and say, hey, the economy's kind of bad. I'm worried about interest rates and this, and I'd like to put some of my money in one of these classic cars. Right. Then you could tell me, hey, take the air out of the tires or keep them at this pressure, use this kind of gas, do this, crank it up, put a battery tender. You could help folks.
Oh, yeah.
Not only sell them the car, but give them kind of a wealth of knowledge of how to maintain it and keep their investment in place.
How to keep it nice, clean, in a good controlled environment.
This is a pretty special car. I noticed that when I walked in, there's just some of these Corvettes that your eyes just drawn straight through. The black ones for me with the Cove, but here this car, when I walked in and saw that red interior, man, it just jumped off at I didn't have to ask you which car we were doing.
Right, it draws you to it.
Yes, sir.
It's that kind of car.
Well, so tell us a couple other things, and we'll wrap this up for everybody.
It's a Fuelie 57, which is very iconic, and the quality of the restoration is just superior. Good colors, all correctly done. Take it for judging if you want to. I think it's one of the best ones we'll see. This car is a 3-speed.
Oh, okay. You could have got a 4-speed.
Could have got a 4-speed. Power top, power window, white wall tire, Cove painted was an option. Heater, radio.
So it had all the options but the 4-speed.
Right. It's hubcaps with the knockoff spinner. And one cool thing too. Normally the car had color key wheels. In other words, a white car had white wheels, but a white car, 57,
only
with red interior, had red wheels.
Now, if it didn't have the red interior, would the wheels have been white?
The wheels could have been white. Yeah.
But the only car they put the red interior match to the wheel was a white car with a red. The wheel is the metal part that's attached to the middle of the car that attached to the brake drum or the hub. Right. Okay, that they painted the color of the car on most of all these Corvettes in this period. Right. Then they put the tire on there and it matches. But because the car came with a white wall tire, if the car was white and the interior was red, for this one they changed it so you get this nice contrast.
Right. First time I looked at the car, it almost looked out of place.
Right.
Then I got in the books and got to digging and
you found out that it was correct.
It's correct. Yeah. The guy correctly done the car.
Right, because you thought, hey, you missed this.
Right. Yeah. I did. I actually did.
And that's pretty cool. Hey, here's another little sideline thing. We've just now got Greg set up in this YouTube world, and there's a guy that does Corvettes. He's in Bradenton, Florida, or somewhere down there, Sarasota, that area. Yeah. His name is Cletus McFarland. He does a lot of Corvette stuff. Now, he's like, fast cars and he's got a ton of subscribers and stuff. Right. But every year he has a race, and every year he gets a prize. So like one year he got like jacked up, like a Mercury car, or like just a jacked up car, and that was a prize. And then one time he gave away a little race car. One time he gave away Pontiac Fieros.
Okay.
But being a Corvette, we ought to tell everybody that if you know Cletus or something to forward this video along, and we should encourage him to maybe purchase one of these classic Corvettes to give away to his LaMullets race or his Freedom, I think he calls it the Freedom 500 or Freedom 1000 or something. And with you having Cub airplanes and him having Cub airplanes, you know, it might be fun if you know Cletus or something, maybe forward this video along.
Sure.
And those guys could, maybe he could come purchase a car and let that be the prize. I was looking at your full tour video, and man, you've done up like 13,000, 15,000 views. Less than 1% of the people that watch the video subscribe. So we would really like for you guys, if you're watching this video and enjoy it, consider subscribing. Right down here at the bottom, we are all about selling cars, and Greg has a cell phone, and his number's on the bottom here, and you can call him about this car. He can give you a lot more details about it. He can tell you how to store it, maintain it. This could be a great investment for you. We'd love for you to like and subscribe. Hey, leave us a comment. Y'all can tell me I'm not a car guy again.